everyone, welcome back. This will be our third and last video with regard to are we feeding our pets a correct diet. I hope you're all well. Hope the heat hasn't gotten anybody too ill. It's been pretty warm, and beyond that in other areas of the country we've been getting rain here, and I sure wish I could send some of it out to the people that really need it. I'm doing great, even though it is pretty hot. I managed to stay cool. Anyways, today's video is going to get rather in-depth, so I'm going to sip a few sips of coffee here, and I would think that you might possibly want to grab a pencil and paper if you don't have one near you, because I'm going to give you quite a bit of information in what I hope will be a short period of time. I know some of my videos have run a little longer lately, and I'm sure trying to make them a little shorter, but this is such an in-depth subject that it's hard to choose, honestly, what to leave out and what not. But at the end of today's video, I'll be putting some sources for you to check out in the description below the video. Those will be places you can go check out the information yourself. And let's get started. And for this, I'm going to need my glasses. Okay, I think the last time we were talking about raw versus kibble and that type of, those types of diets. I just want to add a little short bit of information to that I didn't include last time. When it comes to kibble, it's made with a meal, which is a powdered substance made from protein scraps that have been rejected from human food production and go through a very high heat process called rendering. And here's an example of unkibble versus kibble. In an unkibble food, you're going to have human grade ingredients. In kibble, you're going to be a feed grade ingredient. Unkibble is usually real meats only. Kibble is powdered meal. Unkibble is usually no artificial additives, colors, or flavors, whereas in the kibble there's plenty of fillers and additives. Your unkibbled food is gently dried at a very low temperature, whereas your kibble is extruded at very high temps. So that has led to a lot of widespread Listeria and E. coli outbreaks in the kibble. Haven't seen too much in the raw or dehydrated group. Okay, we talked about labels and we talked about words that you might to be on the lookout for when you're reading your labels, which is so hard and confusing. But I'm going to try to give you a few things of importance for you to really look for on your label. These are some of the things that you do not want to feed your dog. Cornmeal, soybean meal, beef and bone meal, high fructose, ground wheat, whole wheat, corn gluten meal, one of my pet peeves, chicken byproduct meal, animal fat. Those are just a few of the things you want to look for when you're looking at your label of ingredients. If you see those, put that back down and pick up another one. Marketing of these products is how they're getting to us. They use words like they'll have a playful life, or they'll have optic health, or it's a healthy diet. Now seriously, are they going to put in there, this is an unhealthy diet? Of course they're going to put healthy diet. Another thing marketing of products relies on is the bright colored pictures that are on there that draws you into it. Oh, this looks so pretty, and you know, pictures of bright colors, carrots, corn, all that type of thing. That draws you to it, and you think, well, this looks yummy, my dog will like it. When it comes to byproducts, which I mentioned, as like you don't want any kind of chicken byproduct, beef byproduct. What a byproduct is the leftover edible parts that are removed from the animal, such as muscle, bone, cartilage, organs. The other thing you want to watch out for when they say quality. Okay, does the protein come from? Where does it come from? Diseased animals, roadkill, all these things actually do happen to fall into the feed. The industry itself does not have to disclose the source of the ingredients, which I'm thinking we're at some point actually even fighting that on a level with our own actual food in the stores as to where certain products are coming from. Remember that kibble is processed at extremely high temperatures, and that's to make it shelf stable. Rendering companies, when the animal parts go to the rendering companies, what they do is they use the leftover things from the animals that maybe died on a farm somewhere, roadkill, that type of thing. What they do is they combine that food with synthetic made vitamins and minerals. And then they call it a completely balanced diet. So you're probably going to ask, well, why is it when I go to the vets, they say, oh, a good kibble food would be fine for your dog? It's not because they're trying to send you to something that is harmful to the dog or cat. Of course they're not. It's simply because they just don't know. Kind of like when, remember years ago when different doctors of all varieties used to do advertisements for cigarettes? It's a similar thing. And as far, again, getting back to your labels, here are some no-no words to look for. Dinner. If it says, in fact, I think I have one here. Yes, chicken dinner. That means that all they have to put in that is up to 25% of meat. Flavor. I'm not sure if I got one that says flavor here or not. Most likely this one might. No, it doesn't. But flavors, when it comes to flavors, that may or may not contain meat. It may say beef flavored, chicken flavored. That doesn't mean there's beef in it or there's chicken in it at all. If it says a formula, chicken formula, again, the most you'll probably find in there is 25% meat. The same thing for nuggets that you might purchase. And when it says with, in other words, a dog food might say with salmon or with chicken, they only have to, or I should say are required to, make that an amount up to 3% of the food. Now, some of these figures are going to be astounding to you, and the site I'm going to show you to check out and watch. It's unbelievable, the things that we just never thought of were just being led blindly down the road. If it says dog food on it, it's usually, that equals about 95% of the meat. 95% of that item in the can is a meat. Beef, chicken. In other words, if it says beef dog food, that would be 95% of that would be beef. Don't be fooled by all this organic on the pet food labels. They're required to only put up to 3, I can't remember if it's actually 3% or up to 3% organic chicken or meat. And everything else will be some other type of organic food. And then another thing, which I would love to know in the comments if any of you actually knew this, because this is, to me, somewhat astounding. You see on most all these foods, I'm going to try to read it to you. Let's see here. Can't see that on here. I'm looking for that term about meeting AAFCO requirements. I'm not finding it on the canned food, and I'm going to find it on these. Anyways, AAFCO. Who is AAFCO? Did you think that they were actually regulating what foods go in your dog food? Do you think that's what their group is all about? Well, if you do, that's incorrect. AAFCO is a non-governmental company, and it isn't associated with any government. It's not a regulatory organization in itself. They have no regulatory authority. The FDA is the one that has the regulatory authority. It doesn't approve products just because this might say meet the AAFCO requirements. That's not an approval on this product. They don't do that. It approves and validates, actually what it does, it approves and validates what is said is going into it. In other words, it will, if somebody's product says it's 12% protein, their labs will check that food to make sure it's 12% protein. They don't know where the protein's coming from, and it's not their expertise to even do that. It just verifies the amount of what the company is telling them is there. FDA is who is regulating. What you say on the label is what it is, not regulating quality. So if you say there's chicken in here, FDA will make sure there's chicken in there. Doesn't say where that chicken came from. Did it get found on the side of the road? Was it a flock that had to be killed off for some reason, some health reason? They don't know anything about that. They're not regulating quality. And then I did want to mention to you also, because I'm going to check on some of these going through your labels, you're going to see on a lot of the foods the word carrageenan. This really should be, in my opinion, a no-no on any of the dog foods. Not only is it my opinion, you might want to check out the Cornucopia Institute, who did an actual study, which came out with some concerning evidence, actually, regarding that. And what is carrageenan? First of all, one common side effect is a gastrointestinal inflammation. So sometimes maybe you've changed your dog food and you think it's the change in the dog food that's causing a little gastric problems with your animal. It could just be plainly, look and see if carrageenan is in there. Now, I'm not saying that it affects all animals, but it definitely can. The study that the Cornucopia Institute did actually came out with some concerning science regarding the use of carrageenan. So why are so many manufacturers continuing to ignore these studies, to ignore the science actually that is linking serious illness to this ingredient? It's used quite often for like a thickener, and actually you're going to see carrageenan in human food, and it has very little nutrition in it at all. So I guess in conclusion, well, no, I'm not going to conclude. Sorry about that. You're probably saying, yes, do. Here's one that I would be suspicious of. Home style recipe. That's one of the words we had that we said. Carrageenan. Not too far down on the list either. I mean, the further down you get, the less probably there is of that ingredient. But this one is beef, potato, and green beans. Carrageenan. What is this one? Let's see. I think these have some of the lesser things to look out for in here, but it still has carrageenan. Water sufficient. We all know that always comes in there all the time. Not too much else in there that's on our list. I hesitate to read this one. Here's one that has beef broth, beef, wheat gluten. That's a big no-no. And for you people that have animals with allergies, most often and a lot of times if you check the food you're feeding, you're going to see wheat or corn. Those are two things that dogs especially can be allergic to, which will cause the scratching, the dry skin, and so forth. Meat byproducts. What did we say about meat byproducts? Could be anything. Could be feet. It's organs. It's bones. I mean, this is what you're feeding your pets. Corn starch. Again, we're into the corn. Those are the main things to look for. And I want to make sure you understand, I'm not pushing one particular food over another. Everybody has their own beliefs in their own food. And I'm aware that not everyone can afford to feed the foods that are really a high cost. such as the raw foods, which I don't have here. I have fed raw in the past, and especially when I was raising my Bengals, they used to get raw chicken. I find this, again, not this particular food, but a dehydrated food, really easy to feed. And as you're saying, why aren't I reading the ingredients of that? Let me see. It's here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Dehydrated chicken, dried potatoes, flaxseed, dried apples. There's nothing in here. Yeast, salt, fish oil. There's nothing in here that's on our list of no-nos, I call it. Same thing with this. Now this is a raw coated kibble. This one happens to be white fish. I'm not sure that I like the ingredients as much as I do on that particular one, but again, I'm looking to see. This is one that bothers me. Natural vegetable flavor. I don't like seeing that on there. Let's see. Yeah, this ingredient wise, for me anyway, again, this is only my opinion, please. If it works for you, definitely go ahead. So I guess when we get all done thinking about all this and everything we've discussed, which has been an awful lot, and there was so much more I could have brought to the table, but if time-wise did not feel I wanted to take up that much of your time, I guess it all boils down to the pet industry needs some reforms. They do. There have been some changes lately. There's more small companies that are producing healthy foods now. That's what's come out of the industry itself has produced, actually, small companies to come out and produce a healthier, a good word to use, but a healthy food, was less additives, and as far as being able to afford those high costs, I know it's hard. My suggestion would be, perhaps you could, if you're feeding twice a day, you could feed one meal that's the higher quality, and then use the other for the second meal. Until maybe you can figure a way to put aside a little bit more budget-wise. And then the other thing is, if that's not something that you absolutely can't do, there are now some products today that do contain better ingredients than others. And now that you are prepared and you have your list to look at those ingredients, you will most likely find one of those. So that's absolutely an option. And I guess that's really all for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed the series. I hope it's helped someone who's struggling to figure out what to feed, what not to feed, how to help their animals stop itching, scratching, maybe have a healthier coat, shinier coat, any of those things. I hope this has all helped all of you. And until the next time, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And yes, if you've enjoyed it, please, possibly you would want to share it with one of your friends who might be interested. Until next time, Bye-bye.